What Boys and Girls Club is a really total package for kids. If you can get your kid into this program, they're going to be successful, and they're going to find a network of people to help them.
I was fortunate enough to be chosen to attend with about 50 other Boys and Girls Club CEOs from across the United States to attend Harvard leadership program. The things that we do at the Boys and Girls Club is provide them opportunities to experience things that they may not be able to experience otherwise.
Okay, welcome back to Family Vet Live. It's good to see you again. And today I have with me Faith Stamps from the Danville Boys and Girls Club. Really the Danville Area Boys and Girls Club. So you're more than just Danville, aren't you?
We are. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. So tell us a little bit about the Boys and Girls Club. I know people get confused with Big Brothers, Big Sisters.
We do. They're a good partner of ours, but we serve kids both in Danville and in Chatham, like you mentioned. We have 2 locations currently. We're looking at expanding. And we serve kids ages 6 to 18.
Yeah.
And we provide after-school programming as well as summer programming.
Wow.
Yep.
So 6 to 18, does that mean they have to be enrolled in school?
Yes. Usually they've gone through kindergarten, and so they come to us when they get in first grade.
So you're completely a nonprofit?
We are. We are 501c3.
Yeah. So if anyone donates to you, it's a tax deduction,
It
right?
is a tax deduction, yes, most certainly. We're very gracious for our donors and the businesses that support our organization because we couldn't do this work that we do for our kids every day without you guys.
So you provide after-school programs and then summer programs too. And so what kind of kids, how does a child get into your program?
So one of the things that we make sure that all of our parents and our kids complete is a membership application. So we don't exclude any child as long as we have space for them.
Yeah.
And we serve all kids. And so a lot of it is word of mouth. A lot of it is partnering with the school systems. Both Danville City and Pittsylvania County are really great partners with us to help us get the word out. But I'll tell you, a lot of it is word of mouth with our parents and the kids.
Yeah.
I was leaving to come over here a little while ago, and our elementary school kids come running into the club, which I love to see, right? Because they're excited to be there. And it's one thing when elementary school kids do it, but then the middle schoolers were coming in before them, and they were doing it too. So I think that makes us cool when middle schoolers. That
is pretty cool. Yeah, and kids need a cool place to go.
Yeah.
So how many? I think that Danville has a population of kids that really needs your services.
Yeah, and parents have so many challenges today, whether it's having to work 2 jobs to make ends meet, or being a single parent and just having so many responsibilities. Yeah. To have our programming at the location currently on Foster Street, right beside Gibson Elementary. Yeah. We do serve all the schools in the Danville City, but provide after-school programming and homework help and enrichment activities. A whole gamut of things. And we start when the kids get out. So our buses actually provide transportation. Yeah. Pick up the kids, bring them to the club, and then the parents pick them up around 6 o'clock in the city and around 7 o'clock in the county.
Right. So I know I saw you at the Danville Regional Foundation breakfast about Our Kids, the book Our Kids, and Dr. Putnam, I guess you've known him before this speech that he came from Harvard. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to be chosen to attend with about 50 other Boys and Girls Club CEOs from across the United States to attend Harvard leadership program that they partner with Boys and Girls Clubs of America. And Dr. Putnam was our professor one day. And his message was very much like his message at the Danville Regional Breakfast. But, at the end of the day, the data points to the fact that our kids and how we as a community invest in our kids is ultimately going to, the outcome is going to be what our community is like in the future.
Right. Yeah.
And so when he talked about our kids, I've said it numerous times, the kids that we serve at the Boys and Girls Club belong to Danville, and they belong to Pittsylvania County. Right. They don't just belong to a segment of the population that shouldn't garner our support in the community.
Right. So it's our community, and these are our kids, and really they are the future.
Yeah.
So like, if we look at, you know, the technology related industries coming into town, and the river district being renovated, and all the movers and shakers in town and that are making things happen. I look at myself, I think of myself as a mover and shaker, but I'm going to be 50 this year. So if I live long enough in 20 years to see what Danville becomes, I'm going to be 70. I'm not going to be the mover and shaker. It's going to be the kid at the Boys and Girls Club who's 7 years old right now. In 20 years he'll be 27, and they'll really be pushing things forward. Right,
and we want to make sure that our kids understand that we are investing in them, and that we do appreciate them, and that we do want to lift them up and support them in whichever decision and road they choose to take, whether it's the military or into the workforce or, you know, college or university, because they have so many opportunities ahead of them. And at the end of the day, if they do go away to college or military, we in 20 years, we want them back here, right?
Yeah.
To invest in our community.
Exactly. So when I think back in my life, you know, you can't choose your parents and you can't choose what you have, but what Dr. Putnam was saying is a big part of your success is your, as a young person, the influences you have, and how you grow up and how you're influenced. And a lot of it is not just straight A's in school. It's all those other soft skills kind of things. It's like, you know, if you're going to be successful in business, you have to know how to walk into the bank and talk to somebody and chit chat and dress the right way, and, you know, make a good presentation. And where do you learn that stuff? You know? Right,
and the schools do a good job. I mean, they do what they can do during the hours that they have those kids. And where the work that we do at the Boys and Girls Club comes in to support that with the schools is providing those resources, like being able to teach those kids even further soft skills and develop those. You know, we have kids that help us with our front desk. You know, our teens volunteer. They volunteer inside the club and they volunteer outside of the club. And then also, you know, the things that we do at the Boys and Girls Club is provide them opportunities to experience things that they may not be able to experience otherwise.
Right.
You know, we try to take our teens on college tours, not just locally, but I know we had a group just come back from Norfolk State over spring break, and, you know, so they want to be with us. And you're right on that relationship piece. It's the people that you had in your life growing up, right, that help keep you on the direction that you were going, help provide you with the skills you needed, the support you needed. And that's, if you ask any alum that went through the Boys and Girls Clubs, I'm a former teacher. Education is keenly important to me. But at the end of the day, the Boys and Girls Clubs, it's about those relationships that our members can come and build within the club with their peers, but also knowing that they're going to have that staff person there, you know, day after day, week after week, that they can depend on and provide opportunities for them.
So I know that the school system doesn't actually, there's a lot of complaints about our school system, but I think they do an excellent job. My wife's a teacher in the public schools, and I see what she comes home and she's rewriting her lesson plans and working the system, and they are constantly trying to pack more time into the same amount of day. So it's like, but she's got, you know, she's kindergarten, so they have to walk down the hall, they have to eat lunch, they have to go to the potty, they have to do certain things. You know, they have to go outside, they have to go to other special classes, but you still, they're like, and you have to do more instructional time in the time that you have. So they're doing the most they can. And which they can obviously need some help too, and they're working on that. I think Dr. Jones is doing a really good job pushing for us to have the best educational system around.
I agree.
Which makes perfect sense. You know, hey, if we want to be the best and we want to grow, we got to have the best educational system. It doesn't matter if we had an interstate or not. If we had the best educational system in Virginia, parents would move here and put their kids in our schools. At
the end of the day, everything comes back to that education piece. You know, whether it's workforce, whether it's poverty, those issues at the end of the day all come back to education and the support systems that we can put in place to help with that.
So if you're watching this and you can see that education is the key, please comment below and share it with your friends. But also, what do we do as citizens that want to care about our kids? You know, we can't do much more in the school system outside of school. Seems like the program you have is really a trendsetter for what we need to do and emulate.
Well, we're fortunate, you know, and I'm very grateful to be a part of the Boys and Girls Club. It's hard for me to believe I've been there for almost 6 years now.
Wow.
And the old adage, time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
And I'm great for our staff. We've got a wonderful group of people working really hard, frontline staff, every day with our kids.
Yeah.
And, you know, we are looking at the need in Danville City as well as in Pittsylvania County to serve more kids. There will always be kids that we have to serve. You know, there's over 6,000 kids between Danville and Pittsylvania County.
Yeah.
We serve like 300 every day.
Right.
You know, it's a drop in the bucket.
Right.
And so we're focusing on expansion efforts and for this year in 2020 and 2021.
Yeah.
We're looking at we just submitted a proposal in collaboration with Danville Public Schools for funding a 21st Century Community Learning Center through the Department of Education. Now we hope we get it. We don't know yet, but that's a 3-year proposal, and that would be housed at Woodrow Wilson Elementary.
Wow.
And we also have some other donors that are supporting expansion efforts. So if we don't happen to get that funding for that, we will start on a smaller scale with a pilot program this fall at Woodrow Wilson. So we're really excited about that.
Well, that's a great way to use the building we already have. It's set up for education.
It is, and a lot of Boys and Girls Clubs are doing that, you know, and you know, you have this beautiful facility here. Overhead is costly.
Right, it is. Yeah.
You know, and so if we can partner with the schools to go into the schools and run a club, that's the most cost-efficient way because
they're already paying that overhead.
Exactly, and they're such great partners. They understand the work that we do, and it's the how it's so vital to what we do.
Yeah.
Or to what, you know, to our kids.
Yeah.
That then the funds that we raise can go directly to programming and providing quality staff, you know, to run the programming.
Yeah.
So we're focusing on Woodrow, and then in Pittsylvania County, Dr. Mark Jones is also a great partner with Pittsylvania County Schools, and we're looking at the Mount Airy community.
Okay.
So if you're not familiar with Mount Airy, you know, I've been told, and this is the way that I get there, you go to Gretna, take at the light, take a right, go down 10 miles.
There you go.
And it's an elementary school out there that we're really looking at doing the same thing.
Okay. And so it's an active elementary school.
Yes.
You're doing after-hours programs.
Yep. So we're working with that community to really get some stakeholders in that area to invest in that program in that school.
So any community could do this if they just had the stakeholders.
Yeah.
How many people you think it takes to get a program going and keep it?
You know, it depends on the funding. I will tell you that I've run several budgets now, and the number that I keep coming back to, when you're looking at about 50 kids for 1 year, because again, you want to, you know, you have to have qualified staff.
Right.
You want to run a quality program.
Yeah.
Because quality will bring quantity. It will bring more members. So quite honestly, you're looking at about $50,000 for a year.
Right.
But you're also looking at in between 30 and 50 kids.
Okay.
And so then as those numbers grow, the budget grows.
So is it for the simple-minded people like us who do minimal math? If say if I wanted to sponsor one kid for a year,
it's about $1,500.
Yeah.
And that really is kind of how we've done that. We've approached that in Pittsylvania County. We've had about 4 stakeholder meetings there now, and we've got several churches that are invested.
Yeah.
And that's how the churches are approaching it. Let's sponsor a kid. Let's sponsor 2 kids. That kind of thing. So.
And so, what do you need besides that? Do you need teachers? Or you need helpers?
Yeah, we would hire about 3 staff. So we would need to have a site coordinator, and then probably 1, if not 2, part-time program individuals that run our programming. Yeah. We wouldn't necessarily in the beginning need a bus for each location, but I could see that very quickly coming on the horizon, especially as our kids take field trips. You know, we do try to take a lot of field trips. Some are as incentives. You know, when kids come in with report cards, after the 6 or 9 weeks, they've done really well. The staff does a good job of sometimes, you know, they go to Skate Town or they do something fun. Yeah. And so I could see that coming very quickly around the corner, of needing transportation too.
So how many buses do you have in Danville now?
Currently, we have 2 running in Danville, 1 in Pittsylvania County, and we're very grateful to both school systems because they're assisting with some transportation.
That's great.
If I could get out of transportation business tomorrow, I would be out of the transportation business tomorrow.
Added expense and headache you don't need, right?
Yeah, it's about $30,000 to $40,000 a year.
Wow.
Just for transportation.
Yeah.
And upkeep of the buses.
Yeah.
So.
You don't think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I understand when both school systems say, we're looking for bus drivers or transportation it is costly. And that's what I think, we have to realize that to run a quality education program, to run quality after school programming, it takes funding. So
it sounds like you have the support of the schools. They know that what you're doing helps them and what they're doing helps you. Yeah. So, and it helps our kids. Win-win. Yeah.
It's a win-win.
And if you have education and you have a future, then, I have a good education. I kind of stumbled through it with a bunch of adults pushed me along. And there was times when I didn't know where I was going or what I wanted to do. And I ended up here and, I'm not out on the streets, causing trouble. Right. So, and I'm able to support myself. So that's good. Trying to give back. So, that can happen to any one of our kids.
It can. And we have, I know, we invite anyone to come by the club and see what we do. And we have some awesome kids. They may not come from the best neighborhoods, but those kids that walk through our doors are just awesome kids. Yeah. And, we faced challenges growing up, right? We faced a lot of challenges, but I think today with media being what it is, social media, they're always being bombarded, right? Oh, yeah. So probably some of the challenges that we had, they still have, but there's so many other layers that are on top of that today that our kids just need as many support systems as they can have so that they can become the next Dr. Smith and, the next CEO of the Boys and Girls Club. Right.
So you have really good kids, I think, also because they know about the program, they're interested in the program, the parents know it's good, and they want to do it too, so you have a good success rate. Yeah. Tell us about your successes.
We do. We have, for the last 4 to 5 years, all of our kids have graduated from high school. Our kids have not been gang members. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't have a cousin or a sibling that might be affiliated with that. But especially our kids that come consistently at least 3 days a week are the ones that we really hone our data in on. And so our kids are not directly involved with gangs. And our staff know what to look for signs or something on a piece of paper or that kind of thing. We've had 0 teen pregnancies, and our kids last year, all of them were promoted to the next grade level. So, we're doing great things with our kids, and we need to do more of it. That's a need for expansion. Yeah. But, our outcomes do speak for themselves.
So give us an example. I know there's not a typical kid in your program, but you've been there long enough. You've probably seen a few characters who have gone through high school and graduated and moved on from here.
Yeah, we've got several, and they always come back. And you've been around working with our organization long enough. You've probably heard us talk about Lamar and Danny. I had an opportunity to meet a young fellow last week. Our teens accompanied me and our staff to First Baptist. We went and spoke, and a young fellow by the name of Majesty. And he's 17, he is a really smart kid, not been dealt the best hand, but like you said earlier, that has nothing to do with what he, can do.
Whatever cards you get, you're dealt, that's what you get. Yeah. So you gotta,
So I'm looking forward to seeing where he goes next and his next steps over the next 2 years. But Danny Jeffers is an alum now, and she's getting ready to graduate from Virginia Tech, which is so hard for me to believe. Wow. It's like she was just in my office working on calculus. Right. It feels like. But she's graduating. She is she's an entrepreneur. She's focused on getting kids the opportunity to go to college via scholarships and working with them on finding the scholarships. Yeah. and find enough money out there that will support their education so that they don't graduate from college with the major debt that we know that a lot of students do. And she grew up in the club since early middle school.
Yeah.
And just I joke and say she's going to be the next, or one of the first female presidents, or the next Oprah Winfrey, one or the other. She's fantastic, and she chose the academic route.
Right.
And then we've got another gentleman, Lamar. He's the same way. He comes back anytime he's in town, but right now he's at Disney. I think he's still working. I think he's at Epcot, actually, as a chef.
Right.
And he was in junior ROTC and enjoyed that, but he felt like he really wanted to learn about becoming a chef, and we provided him the opportunity. We have a kitchen at the club, but also on some of our college tours, we took him to a culinary school in North Carolina.
Yeah.
He was accepted. One thing led to another. He had 2 internships with Disney.
Yeah.
And is now fully employed.
That's fantastic.
In Florida, and he's living the dream. I mean,
yeah, that's pretty good.
He's living the dream.
And
so
he clearly wouldn't have had that opportunity.
No.
And you talk about Danny there, it's interesting. That's where your investment in one child comes back to where she's working with other kids and providing scholarships and getting so many kids to go to college and influencing so many other lives. It's just like a ripple in the pond where you don't know how far it's going to go.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting. What we're starting to see is kids will come back. We had Jada May, who was our Youth of the Year last year. She's graduated. They come back to the club, and that's, again, if it was just a program. Right. If it was something that just checked the box, I don't think there would be those connections, and those kids wouldn't come back.
Right.
And we see them fluctuate. They come back in. They hang out with the kids. They tell their stories.
Right.
And it's truly remarkable to see.
It's not just a babysitting program. It influences lives.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think that a lot of people are down on Danville, but I mean, it's the greatest place I've ever lived, and a lot of people who are complaining about it come and talk to me, and I'm like, why are you here? Because you went away and you came back. You like it here.
Right.
It's good here. I mean, I've lived in Miami and other places, you know, and it's nice here.
Yeah.
It's nice to be part of a community, and there's a lot of great, friendly, energetic people here.
Yeah, and that's what I've seen too in my time with the Boys and Girls Club is, how the community has started to rally around the organization and understand the importance of the work that we do for these kids, because the reality is, both of our school systems can't do it by themselves.
Right.
And so they need strong community partners.
I agree. I mean, I think there's after-school programs and the church-based tutorial thing, and there's Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and there's a lot of different people. But I think what Boys and Girls Club is a really total package for kids. If you can get your kid into this program, they're going to be successful, and they're going to find a network of people to help them and support.
It is, and that you hit the nail on the head, Jeff. We look at the whole child. We have other partners and programs out there that work with kids after school, but we really try to focus on the whole child because, like I said before, not every child is going to go the academic route.
Right.
You're going to have some kids that are going to graduate from high school and enter the workforce right away.
Right.
And find really good jobs, and you're going to have kids that go in the military. And that's what Boys and Girls Clubs are about, is really focusing on the socio-emotional aspect of the child, the academic, building good character and leadership in our kids, teaching them how to live healthy lifestyles, instilling those characteristics in them. And that's what the Boys and Girls Club is all about.
That's fantastic. So we need to help you, right? So how's the best way for us to do that? Is there a website or a...
There's a website. Our website is bgcdanville.org. And we have opportunities on there that you can volunteer, and also you can give. As we mentioned, it takes strong investors to support the Boys and Girls Club and the work that we do and our kids. So you can give online. We take it the old-fashioned way as well. You can mail us a check. We're at 123 Foster Street on Danville is our mailing address.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, and I'm more than happy to come out. You know, if you have some viewers that make contact afterwards, I'm more than willing to come out and talk about what we do.
Yeah.
To groups
and
as well.
Anybody wants to comment below, I'll be watching my Facebook feed, or if you call the clinic, I'll get you in touch with Faith or the right people. And I think what you're doing is really great, and I think I've been watching you over the years, and I think you are really growing the program, and you have a quality program, and I think it's a balance. You know, you have to keep the quality and also grow it, and it's hard to do, and you need help. And
it is. It is a challenge, and you know, again, I am just the fortunate one that gets to sit across the table and talk about the wonderful things. But we've got great people that are working with us every day, working for the Boys and Girls Club. We couldn't do it without them. And you're right. I mean, you know, it has been a process over 5 years of really focusing on quality and keeping that quality intact and be true to that brand. And now looking at how we can expand it.
So I think that your dollars are well spent here at the Boys and Girls Club, and I think that you have bigger plans that we even talked about. I mean, the opportunities are huge.
They are.
And so, and there's kind of if you can get the money and you can get the help that you need, you can really grow it to a scale that's really going to be impactful for our future.
Right.
And
you're exactly right.
Yeah, because I know at this place, you know, is that we are always looking for great people. You know, people are the biggest asset that we have. It literally is true. It's a really nice, shiny building and everything, but it's just a shell that allows the people to do what they can do. And if we can invest in our people,
exactly,
we'll be
and
further out.
And that's what it's all about, because you want to run a quality facility, quality veterinary place, and you know, when you do that, your business will grow. You know, and it's the same thing with the Boys and Girls Club.
I don't want some of these Boys and Girls Club kids to come and be a little vet techs.
I know, we need to get them in here. We do. We need to start with a tour. We'll start with a tour, and then we'll, you know, get their interest peaked. And when their interest is peaked, then you know, figure out what an internship looks like.
And then I would suggest the same to you if you're watching: is go to the Boys and Girls Club, call Faith, and get a tour, and just see what if you just talk to her for 10 minutes and take a tour of the place, it'll blow your mind. You know, they're really working hard and they're making a difference.